So let's talk about what we just discovered when we were going over the data that we collected yesterday. We discovered that pi is the ratio of the circumference forgot a letter in there, over the diameter. The circumference over the diameter. Now, if we rewrite this, because pi, we use this symbol right here, pi. We use c for the variable for circumference, and we use d for the variable for diameter. So pi is literally c over d. And if we take this one step further, let's say that we're usually trying to calculate the circumference. If I were to multiply both sides by d, then this would be pi times the diameter is equal to the circumference. So pi times diameter is equal to circumference. Okay. Now, what happens if they give you the radius instead of the diameter? What would you have to do? Yes, I see it. You multiply by 2. If you look at our notes from yesterday, our radius is from the outside edge to the center. Diameter is all the way across. So if you're given the radius, you just multiply it by 2 and you get the diameter, right? So that means instead of writing diameter, we could do 2 times r, 2 times the radius. And I'm going to change the order of a little bit just because I'm so used to saying 2 pi r is equal to circumference. So all we did is we swapped out the diameter for 2r because 2 times the radius is the same as the diameter. Both of these formulas will get you the circumference of the circle, and truly they are the same thing. Just if you're given the diameter, you multiply it by pi. If you're given the radius, you double it and then multiply it by pi. Okay? So that's our formula for the circumference of a circle. So let's just do 2 really quick examples on how to calculate circumference, and then I'm going to let you get some practice in Otis, and then we're going to move on to our Pi Day stuff. Okay. Okay, so let's say that they have given you a diameter, so D is equal to 15 feet. Okay. Obviously, this is not drawn to scale, considering that that is probably more like 2.5 inches. And we want to find the circumference of our circle. Well, we're going to take really, we already know that to find the circumference, it's just pi times the diameter. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do pi times the diameter to find my circumference. Well, if you're like me, I don't have a pi button on my little, uh-oh. It's frozen. Oh, there it is. If you're like me, I don't have a pi button on my calculator, so I'm going to use the approximation 3.14. So when I type it into my calculator, I'm going to do 3.14 times my diameter, which is 15, and that should get me my circumference, okay? So 3.14 times 15, okay? And I get 47.1. Well, I'm going to use the approximation symbols because anytime I don't, and actually, anytime you're using pi, your calculation will be an approximation because pi goes on forever. So you're going to have to approximate it. Otherwise, you're going to get super duper long decimals that are crazy, okay? So let's write this down. The circumference is approximately equal to 47.1 feet. Don't forget your units, okay? Completes the problem by adding your units. So that's what happens when you're given the diameter. Now let's take a look at when you are given the radius. Oh my gosh, my iPad keeps freezing up. That's annoying. Okay, so let's say you have a circle with a radius of 2 centimeters. Okay. Well, you could do one of two things. You can just say, oh, if the radius is 2, then the diameter is 4, and then do 4 times pi. Or you can just plug it into the equation, and it will do that part for you, which, you know, same thing. Same thing's happening there. So for me, I'm going to be plugging in 3.14 for pi, and my radius is 2. So I could either do a diameter of 4 times pi, or I could just do 2 times pi times 2, which is the same as 4 times pi. Okay? So I'm going to do 2 times 3.14 times 2. And I'm going to get approximately 12 56/100 for my circumference. Okay. So your circumference is approximately 12.56 centimeters. Okay, centimeters. Wow, my iPad's having issues today. Ooh. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to have you guys take 5 to 10 minutes to work on the practice. Please use a calculator, otherwise you're going to be here all day. And then we'll go over your answers, and then we'll move on to Pi Day to see who knows some digits of pi.